Welcome to the night of 1,000 gaffes. We've had 30 minutes of technical issues. Anyway, hopefully, on this episode of Taskforce Geek, we welcome Lesly Julien, who is the writer of Headcases, available now on Crowdfunder. We also welcome regular contributor Scott Sackett to talk about his comic Heaven's Rejects, which is available for order now at your local comic shop. And we'll also talk about, I got a question for everyone about movies that should have had sequels. So everyone be thinking about movies that should have had sequels, and that's all coming up now. Holy cats, you have no idea what we've been through just to get to this point right here. Such as it is. So welcome to Taskforce Geek. My name is Dirk Hooper. Wow. And today I am joined by Walt. Here he comes. There he is. He's got a new job. It's half the distance to his job, but he was late.
I was late. Yeah, I was late, but for
how is it that half the distance
you
home late?
It had nothing to do with the distance or the drive. It was my first day of work at the new place, and me and the new boss.
To sign.
Yeah, well, no, me and the new boss got into a conversation, and actually, I was training, so we went a little further over at training, and then we got into a conversation.
There was booze involved.
No booze, but right now there's a little booze involved. So
all right, well, there you go.
But no, it's just getting to know each other kind of thing. So
all right,
all's good.
That is great, and it's great to see you here. Also here tonight, we welcome back Scott. How you doing, Scott?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me again.
We love having you on, and might as well make the announcement here while your face is big and large on the screen. Scott is our new regular contributor. He will be in our pool of people that we draw from to
we need to get you some sound effects.
I need something. I'll come up with something. Better than
we need to get you we need to get an applause soundtrack for.
Let's just say simply that I have things coming, and I will leave it at that.
Okay.
So next we're going to have our guest tonight, which is
Hey.
Let me see if I can get him up here. There we go.
Hear me okay?
Oh yeah.
We can hear you
yes.
great. What happened there? We lost you for a second.
So yeah, like I kind of mentioned to Scott, my lovely computer, despite being less than 3 years old, just has a camera that has a little of its own. So I'm using my phone right now. Actually, kind of had to improvise.
Your sound isn't as good, but your picture's better.
Your picture's much better.
Okay, well, you can see my face even if you can't hear me that great. But
that's great.
We'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's one of those days. Let me give you the correct introduction. This is Lesly Julien. He is the writer for Headcases, and we welcome him to the show tonight.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Let's take care of some stuff. First up is a little housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
I love that.
I think I had heat stroke earlier, so I am drinking constantly now.
I'm drinking constantly now too.
Always a good idea.
At a certain point, you think, it's kind of hot in here. No, it's really hot in here. Wait a minute. I'm dying. I'm actually dying.
Why am I on the floor?
Right. And by that time, it's probably too late. Like you should have probably been in a cooler place. You should have been drinking water earlier. Anyway, so if you see me like chugging water like a fish, then you're going to know what's happening. Okay, housekeeping. Hey, this is supposed to be break time for me. We're supposed to be taking a few weeks off, but my caveat was if someone approaches me and they've got something to promote, then we'll do a show. And always happy to do that. And Lesly came to me. He's got something to promote. So he's the reason for the season. He's why we're here tonight. So thank Lesly for us having a show tonight.
It's Christmas in July.
Heck yeah, I love it.
It is,
and it's also Prime Day, and you know, today and tomorrow
Prime Day.
Yeah,
that is the real holiday. Is spending some money at Amazon.
And you know, and because I'm a supporter of the workers of Amazon,
yes.
I'm not participating in.
You're not. You're out.
Well done. Well done.
You expect them to spend Prime Day with their families?
I'm
right?
going to spend Prime Day with my internet family right here.
All right.
That's how it's meant to be spent, right?
So
that's the best way.
At least I'm not contributing to the point. I am, what is it? I am 0.00083% not contributing to the madness that is Prime Day.
Wow. Hey, Michelle is here. Welcome, Michelle.
Hey,
she
Michelle.
says it's great that there's a show tonight. Well, we got a show, and I'm talking about why we have a show tonight. And what do you know? We got a show next week too. So much for my break. Next week we have Julius Freeman and Anthony Gambino, who are the creators of a comic called Vigilant Fury. And after that, we'll either take another week off, or I'll do the long-awaited anniversary show, or if someone else contacts us, we'll have another guest. So anyway, that's it. But
I'm voting
we have
for
a show
somebody
this week, and we have it next week. And the stuff that I suggested, that the kind of sound effects and things that you're looking for, I'm working on those right now. I'm waiting to get done with that before I do the anniversary show. I will say no more.
I sure hope that Price is Right trombone is in there.
We do need that.
Get that.
We do need that bad. So in any case, if you want to mess up my break even more, please contact me at taskforcegeek@gmail.com. We would love to have you on here. We'd love to have you on here.
Kidding.
Who needs a break? I'd rather have guests on here. So
I'm kidding, not kidding.
Get in touch with me at taskforcegeek@gmail.com. Next up is Teespring. Head over to our Teespring shop and get some merch. Here it is. Here's the stuff for that. Right there, taskforce-geek.creator-spring. For some reason, I always want to mess that up.
One thing I will say about the new job, since it doesn't take as long for me to get home anymore, I now have more inspiration to finish that Hooper Friends shirt.
Sounds like
I have a lot more energy now.
Sounds like it's going to be a lot of work.
It is.
That gives us a little bit more space there. I like that. I like that better. Also, I want to say, hey, share your art writing, etc., with us on Task Force Geek Facebook group. We had some people. I mean, even today, someone put something down. It was someone who did an illustration for a J.R.R. Tolkien bestiary or something, and said,
I saw that.
And said, I don't know if I can post this here. And it's like, what do I have to say?
Post it.
Please post your stuff on this Facebook group. That's what it's there for. If you're an artist, you're a writer, or if you just are into geeky stuff, you want to share memes, you want to share stuff about movies, you want to get a conversation started.
If you're a filmmaker, what you make puppets. I don't care. As long as it's peripherally associated with geekdom, please put it on there. We want you to put that on there, and we want you to invite other people to participate on there. Let's get more people on, have more activity. That's what it's there for. You don't have to apologize. Please just put it on there, please. Yep. Join and post. Join and post.
I want to see some puppets
One of
now.
us.
Yeah. After that
Always
video,
a good thing.
After that video that Sean posted this week, I want to see more puppets.
I have picked it. I've said for a long time that I want to have a puppet character that I could do skits with. I found one, and it's reasonably priced. It's possible for me to get it.
I can't wait to see that.
I'm going to call him Fanhole the Cat.
Oh, we finally got Fanhole. All right. Awesome. Awesome.
Finally, I want to say, let's get some likes and shares going, please. If you're watching this, please like this. Please share it. If you share it to your platform becomes our platform. And we reach out to other people. So if you're watching this right now on Twitter, please share it, because then that means that our live broadcast will be going out live on Twitter. We're also on YouTube, and we're on my Facebook account. So anywhere you share it, we'll be live. So we deeply appreciate that. Thank you. All right. It's time for our feature presentation. Here it comes. Excuse me while I drink another gallon of water between breaks. I can't drink enough. Ashell says puppets are creepy and they kill you while you sleep. Wait until you see what Fanhole does.
Yeah.
There will be a lot of griping. There will be a lot of griping from Fanhole. He has a lot of things to say about the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm pro puppet.
I'm pro puppet too.
Very pro. You're
bring on Fanhole.
And you know what?
To love it.
And if there's a marionette involved, even
man, now you're talking. Yeah,
like that
super
too.
marionette action.
Yeah,
I've watched some of that stupid stuff lately.
I love all that stuff.
Oh, it's great.
Thunderbirds. I'm such a.
Yes.
I don't know. In another world, I would be a puppeteer.
Ahead of their time.
Leslie, welcome, Leslie. You are one of us.
Heck yeah.
So speaking of that, let's see. You do have a bio, but it doesn't really talk about kind of where you're from and stuff. And anytime I get that, what I do is I make up my own bio for you.
Oh, I'm excited to hear this.
So here is your bio.
Okay.
Raised by elves in the forest, Lesly Julien learned wizarding ways and became the Wizard King. He defeated the giant Sponge Lord to save the entire universe. Thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
Lately, he's been writing comic books, including Headcase, which is now available on Crowdfunder. So everyone, welcome Leslie.
Thank you. That's not too far from the truth.
Okay. Sometimes I nail it. It does say that, let's see. You do have a list of credits, though, and I will give you that. And here it is. Leslie has written Savage Wizard and contributed to stories on Project Big Height, Volume 1 and 2, and the soon-to-be-released Off Into the Sunset anthology. He's written short comics that run the genre gamut, such as Ghost Gauntlet, Little Dragon Rider, and Sixth Burrow. You've been busy.
A little bit, yeah.
You've been busy. So my first question to you is, and by the way, before I get started, I want to invite our other contributors here to ask questions if they have it, or people who are watching. If you have guests for Leslie, then please help us out. Since I made up a silly bio for you, please tell me what your real origin story is.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Maryland. Bounced around since then, now in Texas. But pretty much, I grew up like always, drawing and reading a ton. So yeah, from an early age, like third grade, I was making stories and stuff. I remember the first comic I ever made was Godzilla versus King Kong, I think in like third grade or something. And I was very excited about
nice.
that.
Me and you are now best friends.
You just made a friend and walked.
Yeah, my life vision came true when they made that movie a couple of years ago. It's like, it's finally real.
You were way ahead of the game there.
And I think I drew not long after that, like an X-Men rip-off comic I did. And I kind of got away from drawing. You see other stuff and you don't feel as confident, but I've always just been a storyteller. Even when I was drawing, it's like I think I was focused more on the backstory of the characters I was making and stuff like that. So I kind of went back and forth on writing for a few years. I think I had like a little hiatus in college. But around college, like I didn't really grow up reading a ton of comics just because of finances. But around college, finally had some disposable income and I started getting into comics. I just kind of stumbled into the comic shop that was literally right across the street from the University of Maryland, Big Planet Comics. And at the time, Civil War was going on, and I started getting into Runaways, and I've always been a Ninja Turtles fan, and I think the IDW run was starting out. So all those things kind of sucked me into comics. And not long after that, my girlfriend, now wife, she was doing like a kind of like a short story writing club, me and her. And we were kind of just doing stuff for a while. And I think she saw just like the insane amount of comics I was consuming. It's like, why don't you make your own? I was like, well, I don't know how. and so after that, I was like, but how do you write comics? And so I kind of just went online and started looking up as many resources as I could. I got, the Scott McCloud books and just, like I said, as many resources as I could suck up. And from there, I wrote my first comic, like a little short I did based on a short story. And after that, I did a few more. And then I did a comics experience for a little bit. And I wrote, some one-pagers from there. I wrote like a 5-page comic. And from there, I kind of started just going longer and longer from 5 pages, to 8-page comics. And then a couple of years after that, I did Ghost Gauntlet, which is a story about a girl who has to punch her way through heaven. I did that right before SPX 2019. Yeah, thank you. And after that, Doug Wood found me, and we collaborated on Savage Wizard, which we just kickstarted last year and should hopefully be fulfilling soon. And now here with Headcases with AJ Mason and artist Paulo Sampiao and colorist Warnia K. Sahadewa and letterer Micah Myers.
We'll get to Headcases here in just a moment. Let me ask
That's
a little bit about.
Story.
Right. That's great. You did great there.
Thank you.
I didn't realize that until just a few minutes ago that you did Savage Wizard, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to come on with Doug. I was so sad.
Because I bid on that deal and very excited about it. I thought it was a really great deal. Tell us a little bit about kind of how that came together and how the Kickstarter for that is going.
Yeah, so basically a few years back, there's something I saw just randomly on Twitter called it's called Pitchvember. And so for writers, because artists have Drawtober, what they call it now. And so writers had something similar called Pitchvember, where you're supposed to come up with like a different pitch every day for the month of November. And so I wrote a whole bunch of wacky, crazy, just off the wall pitches, like some of them really bad. Some of them I hopefully will get to at some point in my writing career. But one of them was, I just wrote something down. It's really short and simple. It's like, what if a barbarian had to reclass as wizard? And I kind of, shoveled it away because, I just have a Google Keep full of ideas. But Doug approached me randomly, I think, after seeing some of my short stories online. He said, hey, do you want to collaborate on something? And I had never co-written anything. So I was like, sure, we can give it a shot. And we were going back and forth on ideas, and nothing was really sticking. We didn't really, like what we were pitching to each other. And then kind of when I Hail Mary, I was like, oh yeah, what about this one? Like, I wanted to do something with it eventually, but seeing Doug right there, I was like, what about this one? And he was like, yes, like that's the one. Like, we need to do a story with this. And I really love the concept, but like seeing that he was also into it, I was like, oh, sweet. Okay, this is, just a goofy one-off thing. And from there, like after we collaborated, kind of going back and forth, I would write a few pages and he would write a few pages, and we'd go back and forth until the whole first issue was done. And from there, we, did our revisions, and we sent it to a couple peers of ours who thought it was crazy. They loved it. And after we had something solid, we started kind of looking for an artist. And after a while, we stumbled onto Brian Flint, who we actually both knew from the Comic Jam, which is like a weekly collaboration group that we were both in a few years back. And I had always loved Brian's art, but I'd never had the chance to collaborate with him. So I thought like this was the perfect vehicle for Brian, because it's a story about these big, beefy, warrior guys just having at it, and Brian's art just really is meant for that. And he adds, just so much to this project. Like his art, check it out. It's
the art was
phenomenal.
Super cool.
Yeah, you can find him on Instagram at Crew Flint. His art is just unreal.
The concept got me interested, but the art really sold me on it. The art was right on target.
Yes. And so
sure.
he's getting close to the end here. But we are, like I said, getting close to fulfillment. But Brian, I am so excited to share like just some of these last few pages that he has been
fine with waiting.
working on.
I'm fine with waiting because what he was producing is really cool.
Yeah,
For sure. It's
really
worth the
is.
wait, I feel. Maxine says, hey, y'all.
Hey, Mom.
Welcome,
Hey,
welcome,
how you
Maxine.
doing, Maxine? Fix my little weird arrangement here.
You're okay. That's all right.
Yeah, my phone says it's getting warm, so I had to fix something.
Yeah.
What attracts you to writing comics?
So yeah, like I said, I kind of stumbled into comics just at a time when I would say honestly, like comics just really gave me like a lot of fulfillment, and like it just brought something to my life that I was missing, because like I said, I had grown up writing stories and I just gone away for that for a while. So comics just really reignited that creative spark in me, and I've always been a storyteller, and like there's just a ton of I think creative person feels like this, but just so many ideas in my head that I really just want to get in my head. That's really why I write comics, is I want to get these ideas out of my head. And so that's the best way to do it is writing comics. And it's been a really fun ride.
Very cool.
Can I throw something in, Dirk?
Absolutely, please.
Oh, one thing I like when you were telling your story that impressed me was you talked about how you had multiple ideas. And I think that's so important, because so often I'm an artist, and so often I run into comic book writers that will tell me, oh, I have an idea. And generally it's, you talked about about Civil War, and generally what they want is their version of something like that. And as an artist, they're always approaching me going, oh, I got this 12-issue miniseries that I'd love for you to draw. And I'm like, I don't know if you can finish one issue, dude.
Right.
But the project I'm on, that's what attracted me to the writer, is he had a bunch of ideas. And I think that's, even if it's stuff you don't use, it's good to have I think what you said, you had a Google Doc full of ideas.
Oh yeah.
Or a gaggle doc, or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's great, because you run into so many people that they have one idea and they get fixated on that idea, and if it doesn't work or they can't get it going, they're just so focused on world building and character, and it's just like, sometimes you gotta have, you need a lot of, you need an arsenal sometimes, Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in.
No, you're so right about that, Scott. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I totally agree with that, because I'm not a writer, but I'm, as an artist, it's like, okay, what do I feel like drawing today? Some days I'm like, let's do robots, and I'll sit there and I'll draw robots. And then the next day I'm like, I want to do dogs, and dogs is one of my most favorite things to draw, is pets. And Dirk can attest to that. But it's just like, it hit me something that's going to challenge me, and I'm waiting for somebody to say, hey, I got this idea about cars, and I'm like, oh crap. I suck at cars. Okay, let's try it.
Maybe the right one. You never know. But yeah, it's all about not keeping all your eggs in one basket. It's about kind of like you said, challenge yourself. I have so many just ideas and story concepts that are just wildly different from themselves. I always think it's really interesting when someone does have like one like kind of singular voice or vision, but for me, like like my stuff is really just all out there. Like I feel like project is different from the last.
What are your influences?
My influences are heavily influenced by Brian K. Vaughan. Like I said, Runaways was like one of the first comics, and then after that, Why Last Man. So Brian K. Vaughan is definitely a huge influence. I would say you could say Eastman and Laird are there again, because again, a huge Turtles fan. And honestly, like a lot of just like real life experiences are really where a lot of my writing inspiration comes from. I see stuff that happens in life and I kind of just turn it on its head, or whatever writer ideas come from the ether, I pluck them and just write them down. But there's definitely like, it's hard to just pinpoint like specific comic ones, because everything I read is really an influence, but Brian K. Vaughan is definitely one I go to
time and time again.
Did he do Ex Machina?
He did. I had the first 2
I
volumes.
just read the first volume of that, and it was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's good stuff. So you picked well. All right, tell us how Headcases got started.
Headcases was slightly different from Savage Wizard, but not too different. AJ O. Mason, who is a fantastic writer, I think he could similarly like kind of saw some of the shorts that I did like online, and it's like, hey, do you want to collab? I was like, okay, I guess I did something with Doug like a couple months back. I guess I kind of know how to create something. So we were trying to figure something out, and initially we were going to do like a fantasy story, like I think it was like more like along the lines like a maybe like, kind of like a D&D type thing. But he was writing a sci-fi fantasy epic at the time, so he really wanted to get away from that, and so we kind of just backed away from the project for a bit and said let's kind of regroup. And once we got back together, we kind of settled on like something that was like in the realm of like crime thriller. And from there, we were kind of going back and forth on ideas like, hey, well, if we have some kids steal something, I'm like, okay, but what do they steal? And I think we really just went as crazy as we could and said, what if they stole a head? And we kind of built the story from that central piece, or we got from there.
I think I needlessly complicated that address, so I changed it. It's just crowdfunder with no E.
No E.
D,
yep.
/ Headcases. It had a reference thing. Anything after, by the way, if you don't know, if you have an address and it's got a question mark, anything after that question mark is useless.
Just reference.
So you can always get rid of that.
Yep, and we even made it easier. You can go to headcases.com, headcasescomic.com. We'll redirect you to the crowdfunder. So, yep.
Yeah, I'm going to add this to the stream so we can take a look at it. There it is, right there.
Oh yeah.
This is the front page. You see, there's 4 people involved here. Who are these 4 people?
So up top, that's me, Julian. Then AJ O. Mason.
It's 5 people, but right.
5, yes. Can't count.
Right.
Paolo Sampi.
I can only count to 4.
I can only count to 4.
That's about all you need, right?
That's an inside joke if you haven't been to the Taskforce Geek page.
Paolo Sampiao, he's the artist, and Warnia Sahadewa, she did the colors, and Micah Myers is our letterer.
His name is Mike Myers.
Micah.
Oh, okay.
Pretty cool. I'm sure he's heard that several times though. But yeah,
Probably has. All right, and you went through the names. They're great, by the way.
Thank you.
It's not easy to do that.
I like that. I like that logo, by the way.
Can I just say
it's simple and to the point.
Amazing logo.
I just want to. I mean, look at this artwork, folks.
It's
really clean and expressive.
Very expressive. Paulo's, yeah.
A really great combination. Clean and expressive is just really awesome.
The colors are great too.
I mean, the colors are great. Absolutely.
I especially love the highlights on the hair there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
I just want to show you.
Color.
I just want to show you a few pages to see what you're getting here, which is, in my estimation, high quality.
Yeah, we try to get the story just off and running really quickly. Don't waste time. Like basically the whole premise, you get it in the first 6 pages.
That's good. It drives me nuts when you get a 24-page comic and you don't really get the point of it until page 24.
Right.
And then you have to wait till the next issue too.
And then you gotta. I mean, I also understand cliffhangers, but hook me a little earlier than that, please.
Right.
I won't show all of this, but I do want people to see that the expressiveness and the quality of this work.
Yeah, that dude looks mad.
Yeah, he's pissed. They stole his head.
This is not a happy character.
Yeah, you can tell he's mad.
Not happy. All right. Now, my next thing that I'm going to share here, if I can get my computer to do this without crashing, which would not be out of the realm of possibility.
which would be on par for the
Yes,
course for
the
today.
way
Yeah, things been
that
going today.
the way
Yep.
the evening is going. Here
Yeah,
is
that
the
logo is
crowdfunder
awesome.
site.
Yeah.
Here, Headcases issue 1. It looks like you are. What is your goal? Is 3.6.
Yeah. So we're inching there. We're definitely getting close to the wire here. So we're trying to blast it out as much as possible. Definitely check out the book if you're interested. If it's something that's up your alley, I like to pitch Headcases now as Pulp Fiction meets Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
that
Nice.
I like that combination.
You know what? I'm going to
Yep.
put that in my. I'm actually sharing this on my Facebook page right
Oh,
now.
thank you.
Good. I hope so. I wish that our buddy Steve was watching. He's got another meeting. Steve always bids on these things. We'll try to get him excited about this here in just a minute. Tell us a little bit about, you said just simply your elevator pitch was Ferris Bueller and Pulp Fiction. Tell us a little bit more about what this is about.
Yeah, so Headcases is a story about these two kids, Gila and Ramon. They're pretty much just going to school routine, Monday, Tuesday morning, and Gila is just kind of tired of the monotony of life and just decides to shake things up, and unfortunately the worst way possible when they steal the bag from this guy, and unfortunately for her there's a head in it, and also it's the guy they stole from is a hitman, unbeknownst to them. So things it really escalate from there, and beyond the crazy action of this crime thriller, Headcases is a story about these kids growing up and figuring out who they are amidst all this crazy stuff that's being thrown at them.
It's a great premise.
Yeah, it is a good premise.
So you've got 10 days left. Did you get off to a good start and then it kind of slowed down, or what? How's the campaign going?
Yeah, so we had a solid start. I think just unfortunately, or at least for us, because it goes differently for everyone. Crowdfunder is like a brand new crowdfunding platform. Like they launched.
Ask you about that.
Yeah, they launched the same day we did. So June 21st is when they launched. So
you're kidding me.
Yeah. Brand spanking new. Yeah.
It is new.
Yeah. So we've been, converting people to the site and also having to, spread the word about Headcases, which has been a little bit tough. I mean, there have definitely been a few. Yeah, exactly. Double duty. Have been a few awesome and successful campaigns on there, but like I said, there's just a little more work when you have a brand new campaign. But we're still gonna plug away and hope we can kind of make a photo finish here.
What was it that attracted you to Crowdfunder? I mean, I'm completely unfamiliar with it. So what made you decide to go with them?
We were just interested in maybe kicking the tires on something new. Kickstarter had like a little bit of a stink with the whole crypto thing that was happening, and so we saw that there was a space to maybe check out a new platform. You've seen Zoo pop up. I think there have been a few other new platforms in the wake of that have been trying to take up some new space. But pretty much Crowdfunder approached us, and we met with the the founder. Yeah, and they were really amenable. They're a pretty small company, so they're just really communicative, and we like what they had to say. Pretty much, there was no corporate doublespeak. They just said we're not interested in going that direction. I mean, that's fine. I mean, whatever. A business is a business. So Kickstarter does what Kickstarter does. I still back Kickstarter books because there's lots of awesome talent on there. But like I said, just wanted to give something new a shot, and pretty much they are a platform that is trying to be a little bit more creator friendly. So they just are, I think, a little bit more modular, have a little bit more different options than Kickstarter, which is nice. One of the options is so Kickstarter, it's all or nothing. But maybe if you're like a writer artist, they have a tier, or they have an option similar to Indiegogo where you can keep all the funds raised. So if you're into something like that, then you have that option. Okay. Another difference from Kickstarter is obviously there's going to be platform fees, but
They have 3 tiers where you can have like a free tier, which would mean you wouldn't pay any platform fee. There's a second tier where backers would pretty much defer that platform fees for you. And the third one's be like the same as Kickstarter. So again, just a few differences that make you say, So like I said, we wanted to kick the tires on them and give them a shot. So here we are.
Competition is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
the more competition, I mean, by all means, I admire you for taking a shot at this new platform. And, honestly, I hope it does great. I hope you do great, and I hope it does great, because the more options out there, the better off we're all going to be. For sure.
I also see that, since it's new, there's not so much to sift through to find you. So, you get in there early, and if it's, hopefully it succeeds, we're praying that it succeeds, and you've got your foot in the door, and everybody knows, hey, this next issue is, they're trying to get this next issue. They come directly to you.
Sure.
And, over there on Crowdfunder, and then, you've already got, you get your foot in the door on that thing. And if it takes off, everybody knows to go to you on Crowdfunder.
Exactly.
And, like some of these people who are on Kickstarter early, everybody knows to go directly to them, Kickstarter, so, I'd probably take a chance on it too. If it were me, I'd take a chance on it as well.
It's a shame that it seems like crowdfunding has become, like just about everything, such a political thing in our society, because originally, this idea of crowdfunding, certainly with comic creators, I think has helped a lot of creators get work out that wouldn't otherwise get out.
Unquestionably.
Definitely.
And it's just a shame that it's kind of become this, just a hot potato, because a lot of creators just want to get their book out. They don't care about all this other garbage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they don't care. They just what can I make my goal to get my book out?
Right.
And I think that taking a chance on a third party is a good move. And I'm kind of with Walt, and I can't help but think that since you launched the day they launched, or you took an early chance on them, if this is successful for you, then I can't help but think that whatever you do in the future, maybe they'll give you a little bit of preferential treatment, however that works out, So hats off to you.
So. Fingers are crossed.
We need more we need more competition, or there needs to be a third party, a third choice in this.
Always. More like Dirk said, more choices are always better. There's some good stuff on there.
Absolutely.
Ryan K. Lindsay has a project on there right now, Backstory, which looks amazing. I always look for Ryan's stuff. I'm not sure if you're familiar with his work, but he's an incredible writer. Mark Ostak just funded his book actually just today. I think he still has about 9 more days to go, but he has a book of Madness. It's a graphic novel, which is really cool. I think it's about Dionysus and modern age, and it's really fun looking book that I also went ahead and backed. So there's some good stuff on the Crowdfunder review. Take a look.
Cool. What are your tiers? What are you offering on this?
So let's see. I'm gonna have to go for memory since I don't have my computer open right now. But I believe we have just our digital tier. It has some fun names for them. Unfortunately, I have it in front of me right now. But yeah, so we have our digital tier. I'm going to help you out. Thank you.
I put you on the spot. I'm going to help you out. Here we go.
There we
Delinquent, which is your digital.
Thank you.
Deal for
yes.
You're welcome, man. Well, I'll go through it. That's $6. Then you have Homework, which is the physical copy.
That's a good title for that tier.
$10. That's just $10, folks.
Just $10.
Let me point that out. There's a lot of things that you can't even get the digital for $10 in a lot of packages. That's a really good deal. Extra Credit.
That's another good title.
It's the Grim Wilkins cover. Yeah, this is great. So you're going to get an alternate cover with that, correct?
Yep, variant cover from Grim Wilkins, who is an amazing artist.
Physical plus digital, you give them both. The cover was inspired by Brooklyn Dreams Volume 2 by J.M. DeMatteis and Glenn Barr. Right. Detention, which is the digital bundle. Oh, you're going to wait a minute. This is interesting. You get PDFs of Headcases issue 1 plus Savage Wizard issue 1. If you heard Leslie talk about that earlier, you might be interested in getting that issue. You're going to get that with this. Sick and Party Invasion plus Leap plus Rick Flash plus Leap M.
Yep. It's a
Wow.
nice little bundle there.
That is a very nice bundle.
That's a good bundle.
That is good stuff too. Very cool. How about after school tutoring, which is a pitch script review? It says right here, do you have a script or pitch you need help with? With this reward, you can get a 1-hour video chat with Lesly Julien and AJ O. Mason, who will help you get your story up to fighting shape. How about that? That's a cool tier.
And I think the last one just sold out. I think we're all out of that last one, if I'm not mistaken.
It's called Art Project Get Drawn in the Comic. You get to appear in the comic. Oh, I love that stuff. It's only $125.
Yeah. That.
Come on.
Yeah, I would definitely, if I was doing a book, I would definitely have that as a tier.
That is a great tier, by the way.
Yeah.
And for $125,
that's an awesome tier.
Very reasonable.
Except mine would be
I'm not
like.
sure if that one is still open. I'm not sure. I could be misremembering,
it says here 2 ordered, 1 remaining.
Oh, 1 still remaining. Okay,
so
never
1
mind.
still remains.
$125. Mine would be Get Killed in My Comic.
Oh, of course.
Right,
the best.
Get brutally killed in my comic.
That is the best.
We saw in many moons ago in San Diego, we saw Dave Johnson, and I was, I love the work of Dave Johnson. And it was me and I think it was either Robert or Sean and Scott Prime. And we're all kind of, whatever. We're men of a certain size and a certain look. And he said, you guys look like, thugs. He said, can I take a picture of you and put you in a comic? And we're like, yes, please do that.
Yeah.
I have no idea if we ever showed up in one of his comics or not.
Oh man, that would be.
I keep
the dream.
Hoping that someone will see like an old issue of like Super Patriot or something and go, this guy looks a lot like you.
There's the Three Stooges right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. It would be easier if I could remember who was with me. It was either Sean or Robert. In any case, I think that's really funny. But look, getting into a comic is a really big deal, and $125 is pretty.
It's a steal.
Yeah.
For getting in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because basically you're getting a copy of yourself in the comic.
So much cooler than just a straight portrait.
As well as everybody else out there is getting a copy of you in a comic.
For sure.
And if you can just tell all your friends, hey, see this page. That's me. That's me getting my head. That's me getting decapitated. That's me getting decapitated.
Exactly.
I think that's a pretty awesome deal. What's your best pitch for why people should contribute to your campaign?
My best pitch is, if you like engrossing, fast-paced stories with, maybe like a little bit of cinematic flair, you should definitely check out Headcases. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. We tried not to make it an overly serious book. It's fun with just the right amount of dark humor and loads of action. And I think people will definitely enjoy what they see. Paulo's, artwork, like you said, is very expressive. It's dynamic, and Warnia's colors are just fantastic. Just those park scenes. Like every time I look at Gila and Ramon in the park, like I have to stop and like study. Like her lighting is incredible, and Micah too. A good letterer, really makes you just appreciate everything else that's going on. And Micah has some fun stuff that he has put in there as well. And so, yeah, it's just a great, well-rounded book. I think people should definitely check out.
And it's unique.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's got a great premise to it, which is really cool. What's next for you? What do you have coming up next, Leslie?
I'm also, like you said, in Big Hype Volume 2, which is currently on Kickstarter. So people should definitely check that out. If you've read Big Hype 1, my story in this one is totally opposite from my last story. The first big hype, I snuck a very depressing story in there, and this time I kind of turn around. This one is a very just shonen inspired. It's just fun manga little action story that I wrote with Zach Kinsella, which is a lot of fun.
Cool. For people who are not familiar with Big Hype, that is an American anthology that is printed like manga.
Yep.
So it's a kind of digest size. It's black and white. It's got 1 trillion pages. How many people are in it? Like 70?
2 trillion.
There are a lot. Yeah, I'm not even sure how many.
75. It was 75.
Sounds about right.
It was 75 in the first one. I do
75.
believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be. Do you know?
It was 300 pages too.
If I'd known we were going to talk about it, I would have grabbed mine.
I usually keep number
Yeah,
one
there you
pretty
go.
close.
Yeah. Here, there it is. Hang on. Let me put you up. Full
And I think you
screen
can
here.
get it right now with Volume 2 if you want to catch up and get the old one.
Oh, I gotta catch
It's
up.
available.
And
I
by
have
the way,
to catch up. I
mean,
ordered it, and apparently I had two Kickstarter accounts, and one was defunct, so I didn't. I used the defunct one, so that means I didn't get the first. I didn't get the first issue.
Sneak of what I wrote.
yeah. I mean, it looks like manga, but it's
Yeah, a lot of fun.
We-
I did with Rachel
we did
Disler, who has got some fun stuff coming out this year as well. So yeah, I've been lucky to work with some incredible collaborators.
You have. And we love Doug. We mention him almost every episode on this show. I mean,
He's a sweetheart.
It's not intentional. It's not like, hey, now's the time to mention Doug on the show. It's more like he just comes up all the time. He's been on the show several times.
I think he's
a lot
the
of the
indie
people
Stan Lee.
he kind of is.
He's a busy guy. He's got his hands in many pies. He's a sweetheart.
I think he also sends some people our way, maybe now and then.
Oh yeah, he told me you better go on Taskforce Geek.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I know that he talks us up, and I appreciate that also. But he's also very good at what he does, and like a really cool guy.
Yes.
Like it could just not be understated that Doug is doing many good things and is just a really cool guy that deserves all the love and success that he gets.
Yes.
For sure. But anyway, we always appreciate Doug, and we appreciate him sending us people, to talk to. So we do that quite a bit. All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we move on to the next section?
Nothing else for me. Just you can find me all over the internet at Les Wright. Headcases is live, so check it out if you like to sound what you heard.
Is it headcases.com you can go to?
Headcasescomic.com.
Okay, headcasescomic.com, or you can follow the link that we have down there.
Yep, I'll just redirect you to the crowdfunder, so either or is fine.
Right. And I'm interested to know how crowdfunder is going to come out, because the more the merrier on that sort of stuff. That's also kind of an interesting story for sure. Yeah, very cool. All right, well, we're going to move on to our next deal, and here it comes. All right. Our regular contributor, Scott Sackett, just happens to have a comic which has now been put out in the current issue of Previews. For those of you who do not know, Previews is a catalog, a big fat catalog of comics, which is sent to each comic book store. And what they do is they take the people who own the comic store will order from Previews. And so for the first time ever, Scott has a comic that is available for pre-order through Previews. What do you think, Scott?
I was thrilled when I went to the comic shop, and I had heard the writer had texted me and said, which by the way, right there is the order code. So
Right.
it's Diamond order code JUL221933.
I was wondering what that was.
That's exactly what that is. It's not my social security number. No, I was, I when I was on, I talked about all these various projects I've worked on that have gone belly up, and so I still expected at any moment for me to be shown the door at SourcePoint Press. But I was thrilled when I got the text from Greg that we were going to be in the July previews, and I walked into New World Comics and I said, "Hey, where's the July previews?" And I opened it. Oh, I should have my copy here. Oh, I opened it, and there was a full-page ad at the front of the SourcePoint Press section that was the cover of issue 1. And then inside the SourcePoint Press section, they had bought 2 full-page ads. So one was with cover A and one was cover B. So I have a double-page spread in the catalog, and I have a cover on the catalog, or an ad, a full-page ad in the catalog. So I thought that was very cool. And then I found out last week, a friend of mine who buys most of his comics online texted me, and he said, "Hey, DCBS, which is, I believe, the #1 distributor of comics online. It's not an online comic, but you order them online, similar to like Amazon or something like that. But they had it as I think it was a spotlighted thing, and they had it specially discounted. It was like 30% off. Most of them were like 10% off. So they were making a push on it also. So I feel like I was thrilled to see it in the Diamond catalog, and I've been constantly blown away at the different people that keep pushing this comic, because I figured any day that I would get an email going, "Oh, we're sorry, we decided we're not gonna carry your book." So, that's been the trend, but it's going to happen, and a lot of people have reached out and told me they've ordered it and they're going to order it, and the cutoff ends July 18th. So if you haven't ordered
that's 6 days away.
Yes, tomorrow is new comic book day. Yeah, tomorrow's new comic book day. So when you go to the store, I want a copy of Heaven's Rejects from SourcePoint Press, and then I had the diamond code there, and I mean, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of people have kind of joked with me about, "Oh, you're going to be making all this money or whatever." We all know comics, so we know that's not true. But really, my only interest in this is and the only really reason I really even care about sales at all is I just want to make enough that the publisher wants to do a sequel. I want to do more.
Right.
I'm not worried about making the money back or make it. I did all this without a page rate. I told you last time I paid half of the colorist bill. I've paid for a couple of commissions. I don't care about any of that. I just care that like the book does well, that the publisher will go, "Hey, we need a sequel." That's all I care about.
Or it gets to the point like Bulletproof Monk, where it just gets noticed enough that somebody says, "Hey, I think that would make a nice movie."
That Netflix picks it up. You want your Netflix money?
That's the ultimate.
Yeah, that's the joke, and a lot of people at work, a lot of my I'm a manager, so I have people work under me, and they're always joking about, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna get rich and leave." Yeah, again, I mean, all I care about is that it sells comics.
Scott,
I'm
sorry.
Shell says, "Congratulations, Scott."
Do you mind if I hear the pitch for the book?
Oh, yeah. No. I'll absolutely give you the pitch. So I'm not the writer, I'm the artist, but when I called the writer on the phone, and I mentioned to you about having a bunch of ideas, the publisher said, "You should call this guy. He's my best writer. Everything he does makes money for me. You guys would be great together." And so I called the guy on the phone. He lives up in Michigan. I call him, and he says, "Hang on, let me get my notebook." And he gets his notebook out and he reads me all these pitches about literally like a dozen pitches.
Wow.
And his initial pitch was it's like Charlie's Angels, but the angels are real. And I thought, that sounds interesting. And so we went through the spiel, and I said, well, go back and tell me about that. And he told me it's 3 angels that get kicked out of heaven, and they come down to earth. They have to make money. And while they're down here, they're trying to, like, do good. They don't really fight crime. They fight, like, supernatural kind of menaces. And ultimately, they get entangled up through the course. It's a 4-issue miniseries. Through the course of that, they get entangled up with these demons, and the series ends in a cross-country race for the girl's very soul. So, Walt said he didn't like to draw cars. I drew an entire issue that was inspired by Cannonball Run.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Okay, I'm sold.
It has a bit of a, speaking as someone who's read the first issue, it has a little bit of a 70s or 80s kind of
absolutely
action flair to it. It's fun. It's super fun. It's not meant to be taken too terribly serious.
No, absolutely not.
Each page has another crazy thing that's happening in it. It moves along really fast.
Yes.
It's just a fun comic. I mean, it's the sort of comic. That I always look for, because it's got a bunch of kind of mashups of different genres in it, and a lot of stuff.
I think it
going
would make
on.
a great movie.
Yeah. You seriously had me sold Cannonball Run homage. So I'm seriously, I'm going to hit
a
up
little bit of Hellboy in it. They're fighting monsters and stuff. And
I've been telling people it's like Charlie's Angels meets Hellboy, but the angels are real. That's kind of my quick, because there is supernatural stuff. I mean, they're fighting. I mean, obviously they're angels, but they're also fighting like demons. Issue 2, they go to a mall, and the 70s thing is on purpose. When he told me it was like Charlie's Angels, I immediately thought of Farrah Fawcett and Kate Jackson and that series. He's a little younger than me. I think he was thinking about the movies, but I put that in there, and I told him what I was doing.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, that's great."
Your art definitely influenced that look and stuff. I have some stuff to share here in a moment.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to ask you, a few questions about, first off, if you haven't seen the interview with Scott the last time we had him on, it was, or when we had him on as a guest, I think that was back in May, right?
Yeah, it was about
maybe
2 months
earlier.
ago.
I believe so.
It was about 2
April
months
or
ago.
May.
Something like that. Yeah.
Please go watch that, because the story of how this thing came about and what you did.
It could
to
be a
bring
movie
this
on
thing
its own.
home. Absolutely, it's like Rudy or something, where like
I'm not sleeping in the locker room
against all odds, and against, I mean, like, working your ass off. You
I'll
basically,
cop to that.
I mean, without any promise of anything, people need to know Scott did 4 fully penciled issues before he ever got a green light.
And inked them.
And inked them.
And paid for the colors.
That's with no promise of anything, folks. For people who complain about I can't do 5 pages or something. Scott did 4 full comics. I mean,
I mean, I've done so much stuff.
Yeah, seriously,
I've done so much stuff over the years that, it's like people. I mean, I've tried to break into the industry such as it is. Probably since, in 2000, I took samples to San Diego Comic-Con, and and you get people that will tell you, "Oh, I got a connection at Image, and we're gonna do." I drew a pitch one time for Rob the guy, he was friends with Rob Liefeld, supposedly. Oh, I got a thing for, he wants to relaunch New Men, and we can do, I mean, just all kind, and you draw 5 or 6 pages, and you email them off, or you mail them off, you never hear anything.
You never hear
anything. I just dealt with that and I've done a ton of that, and it's almost, people will tell me, oh, I can't sit down and draw. And I've drawn so much that I can't stop. it's like an inertia, I don't know what would happen. And you know, I'm glad that it's I don't want to say it's at the end, but I'm glad that I've got to a point, because all along, really, my goal was to, I mean, at one point, you know, like a Marvel thing would be great, but I've realized that's not really all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, man, if I can do my own comic, you know, and work, Dirk, you and I were talking about before we recorded, man. I mean, people that, you know, that you elevate, especially I think if you're my age, where you grew up with, you know, in the 80s and then in the 90s, where you see and you're like, man, drawing comics would be way up here, and if I get that, I'll be buying Ferraris and houses in Malibu and all this kind of stuff. And you realize when you look around or when you read histories of the comic book industry, you realize that is very rare. Most of the people in the industry are treated terrible.
Yes.
And
even
you know,
now.
that's even now, especially now. You know, I don't think Marvel's raised their page rate in years. In fact, I think it's gone down. And you know, and so I've realized, like, and don't get me wrong, hey, if they knock on the door, I'll answer. But I don't see it as kind of the pinnacle thing. Yeah, I'll draw.
Because it will put you in front of a bunch of people.
Right.
But then take that fame and go do something for, you know, a creator-owned company, or
that's what happens now.
Launch yourself on one of these, on crowdfunder or Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and then cash in. That's the trick.
Exactly.
And then you're going to get $200,000-$300,000 on your campaign, and then you also get that phone call from Netflix, because they need content.
Right.
They need content now.
Right.
Well, I know SourcePoint has a lawyer that's out pitching the stuff, so who knows?
Hey, that's cool to
hear. But again, that's not the. I mean, and again, that's not. I mean, really, all joking aside, my entire goal is to have a book that's out, and if this book leads to, or if this series leads to series 2, I'll be ecstatic. If it leads to series 3 or something else, or, you know, I'm just tired of hustling for stuff that doesn't see the light of day. I want people to return my emails. It's tough out there. I mean, you know, I am sympathetic to anybody that tries to make comics, because it can be very challenging unless you just happen to hit a niche. But but anyway,
we're all hustling, like you said. That's all it really is, just a one long hustle.
I really want to focus in on this for just a second. What did it feel like to open up previews and to see your work right there in you know, where you knew that it was going to press and that people were going to be ordering it? What was that moment like?
Well, I had no, and I think I said this, I had no idea that that they were going to do the full page ad like that. And I had no idea they were going to do the double page
actually
spread.
have that.
So
I
thought,
we'll look at that here in a second.
Nice.
Oh, do you have that? Okay, cool.
I do.
But
we'll
I mean, it was, you know, I don't have children, so I wouldn't say it was like having a child, but it was, I mean, I gotta lie. I mean, I didn't weep in the comic shop, but I inside I was weeping a little bit. It was pretty cool. It was awesome. I mean, you know,
doesn't it make you feel like you're 13 years old again? And
oh, absolutely. Like,
wouldn't you like to take that previews and run it back to your 13-year-old self and go, hey, look what I did.
Did it.
That would be that would be cool. No, I'd like to run it back to myself in 2020 when or 2000 at San Diego Comic-Con, when Chris Claremont told me, no, you're not gonna
Wow.
You know,
Claremont told you that you weren't gonna get anything published?
No, well, no, he was actually, I forget exactly what he said, but it was very it was not it was kind, but it wasn't complimentary. No. And I mean, man, I tell you what, anybody that's ever sat at a con, especially a big con, and wait in a portfolio line, and then you go up there and you hand them your portfolio, and they're just like, It takes thick skin.
It
You know,
does.
it's
Done that.
tough. Yeah, it's tough, and seeing this now makes all that stuff worth it. You know, even though it's not really a relationship. That didn't lead to this necessarily directly, but having that thick skin and that perseverance is what led to this. And seeing all those editors, and don't get me wrong, I every single one of them was nice as possible, but I went to a Marvel one where they pick stuff they like, and so I thought, hey, I got picked, they're going to review me, I'm going to get a shot. And the editor starts off and says, well, I'll just tell you, I'm not going to hire you, and then it's like,
Right.
okay, well, and I've been in a couple things like that, and to see this, if I could show the slightly younger me then it would be, there's like a culmination of a lot of hard work, for sure.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to add this to the stream.
That's the dream right there.
Yeah.
Now these are all.
Oh, that's my ad.
These are unordered. I just grabbed these and threw them in a folder. So please excuse me for this. These are not going to be in any particular.
You want me to talk
order
about
here.
them?
Yeah, please.
Briefly?
Just as we go through it, just tell me kind of what this is.
Greg the writer asked me to do a couple ads. We talked about it for a while, and honestly, I was stuck. He was like, we need to do some spoof ads to use to promote the book and to possibly put in the trade. And I said, okay. And I was stuck. I couldn't think of anything. And so he emailed me a few weeks ago and was like, we should do something. And so I thought, oh, okay. I said, okay, I'll come up with something. And I couldn't, I said, well, do you have any ideas? And he have any ideas? And so I went and I realized I had a book of advertising art from the 50s or 60s or something that.
Nice.
And so I just pulled it open and started flipping through it just for inspiration. And I found a refrigerator ad. And I thought, well, what would the girls put in the refrigerator? Well, she would put guns. And so that's Barry.
That's
And
awesome.
I wrote all that's her name, and I wrote all the copy, and I drew it, and he was like, this is all. He changed it a little bit. Originally at the bottom, it didn't have the Heavens Rejects logo. He said, we need the logo, and I go, oh yeah. So I kind of switched it up a little bit, but that's the ad. I was very happy with it.
I want to make sure that everyone knows that we're talking about Heaven's Rejects. It's available right now. Go to your comic store. You can pre-order it. Just tell the comic book store owner that you're interested in ordering Heaven's Rejects #1 and put it on your pull list. That's what we're talking about.
And Diamond messed up, and they've got it as Heaven's
Of course they
Reject.
did.
I know.
Yeah.
If he searches for Heavens, if you search for Heaven, there's only 3 things, so you can't miss it.
I'm
Source
glad
Point
you
Press.
mentioned that. What the heck? If you go to Source Point Press, I couldn't find it on there. Are you saying if I put in Heaven Rejects, it would pop up?
If you go to the Diamond site and put in if you just search for Heaven, it'll pop up.
Okay. I think Source Point is waiting until it's published before they put it up on the.
I think they are because
deal.
they don't. Yeah, because they don't. That was the thing is I was like, hey, can I go to New York? Because the first book comes out in September, and they said, well, we don't know if we're going to have books, So it's like, oh, okay. I don't want to go with no books. So that's the double page spread.
Here's your double page spread, man.
Oh, I know. I don't know what they spent on that, but I'm happy.
Yeah. They pushed it hard.
Yeah, they did.
I mean,
yes. Oh, they did.
That ain't
I think
cheap.
they have some faith in this.
No, that's not cheap. Especially
32
full
page,
color.
$3.99. That's a good price.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice. Mature. I don't.
Yes.
What? It's not that mature. Why would they?
Well, I think
violence.
it's because the language. I think it's because of the language.
Okay, and there is some gore.
There is a little bit of gore. Tonally, I would compare it to a James Gunn movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
When I saw the Suicide Squad, I emailed Greg and I
Yes.
go, I just watched the Suicide Squad and I realized kind of some of what you were going for in
It's
here.
right.
I didn't get it,
For sure.
you know,
I
which
mean,
is
that
probably
a
good.
That's a good
Yeah.
comparison.
I love the look of those characters. That's so much reminds me of watching TV from my childhood.
Who did this?
Yeah.
Who did this cover? Do you remember her name?
Yeah, it's Alex Monique, I think is her last name.
Okay.
Monique. Yeah.
If Mom is watching, Mom, remember having that hairdo?
Wow.
I think my mom had one too.
I thought
but
she
on
did a
different
great
woman.
job on that.
My mom had the one in the back.
Okay.
There's the full mock-up of the cover.
That's the full cover.
Yeah, very cool. Again, great job on that. There's the second. Who did this?
That's the B cover. Ooh, I'm not for sure, to be honest with you. I didn't know they were going to do two covers.
Looks good.
Honestly.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, they did this originally, and I forget. Greg had a guy that he knew do this for us, and then somehow Alex came along, and so we got her to do one, and everyone's kind of responded. You know, the painted cover is always a little flashier,
Right.
you know. But yeah, I like both of them. I'll get both of them.
Are they both the same price?
Yes, except for the DCBS deal that I was telling you about.
Oh, yes.
They only have the A cover discounted, which is the other cover. I'm not sure why.
Nice.
That's the other
That's
ad,
awesome.
yeah. Yeah. I wanted to be kind of a spin off of the old creature from the Black Lagoon, except I didn't want to draw the creature because I didn't want to infringe. So my creatures actually modeled after the creatures from Humanoids from the Deep.
I was getting ready to say that.
I thought that would only be appropriate considering the theme of that movie. Turns about it's fair play.
I got stories about that movie.
Raven
that I won't go
appreciates
into right now.
It says Raven appreciates the athletic features of ISIS swimwear when meeting new people at the beach.
Yeah.
That's funny.
The latest ad actually has a logo of. I made a little ISIS swimwear logo. This is now you know who this is. This is Mike Kennedy's pinup. Mike Kennedy
has been a guest he's almost a regular contributor on here. He's been on many, many times. Yeah, Mike Kennedy's a good friend of mine. I met Mike Kennedy at the infamous Platt College, and Platt College, which was practically Platt Comics, it seems like. But Mike was one of my instructors when I was at Platt, and Mike, honestly, one of the reasons why I wanted to include Mike in this is because Mike really inspired me, because when I was at Platt, he was working on, and I can't remember the name of the comic. He was doing, the comic he did about the group of girls that were superheroes. Heroines Incorporated.
Heroines Incorporated. That's it. He was working on that, but Mike really was the first person, and I grew up reading comics, but Mike is the first person that I knew that was making comics with his Chuck the Barbaric. And a friend of mine saw that. A friend of mine went to school at Platt with Mike, and he showed me this comic, and I go, what is this? And he goes, oh, one of the guys at school is doing this. And I go, how? And so Mike really broke my brain to the idea that it was possible for human beings to make comics, and they weren't printed up on Mount Olympus somewhere.
Yeah.
And then you have a history with Mike.
Mine goes back to the late 80s, and where he would set up at these local conventions and stuff and sell Chuck the Barbaric and Heroines Incorporated and all these other comics and stuff, and he would just produce it, on his own. And it's like, how do you do this? This is crazy.
Then we all did Rough Cut together.
Yes.
Yeah, Rough Cut was
several years later. We did Rough Cut, together.
I saw.
Which was
I don't know who. Yeah, go ahead.
It was a little radical for the time. It was kind of like our own version of Kickstarter, except that what we did is we had all of the creators kick in some money to help fund that first issue, and then all work together to get out the next issue. We got a couple of issues out on that, but this was before, right? This was before, really the internet. Certainly crowdfunding, certainly being able to print on demand. I mean, we went through Brenner Printing, which was it was the same printer that DC and Marvel used. We went through previews and, solicited it the old fashioned way. A lot of the things that people take granted for right now were not around at that time. So it was a interesting experiment. And it certainly taught all of us, everyone who was involved, that we could do it. Now honestly, it's still difficult, but it's 100 times easier.
Now so much easier than
definitely.
Well, and one thing about Mike, and I mean, you guys know Mike. Mike is a great guy. Mike has been doing I talked about my doing it since 2000. Mike's been doing it since the 80s, and and he's had some pretty good stuff come out. And Mike has always been a favorite creator of mine. So I was when the opportunity came up to ask people to do commissions, no offense to the other two, but Mike was the first one that I reached out to, just because I really love his work, and I have a lot of respect for him as a human being, and I think he's just a great guy. He's almost like a brother to me. So
that's cool. Like I said, Mike has been on here many times, and Mike is a great guy. For sure.
Yes.
One of the great things about both this show and about getting back into comics is that I've gotten to see Mike a lot more often here recently, as opposed to any time over the last 10 years or so. So it's been nice to kind of reconnect with him. And that guy has, for a guy who's never worked for Marvel or DC, that guy has a lot of stuff out there.
A lot of
stuff. He has a lot of comics. He is very prolific, and he loves making comics. So anyway.
It's amazing that he hasn't been approached to do something small for any of the big two.
For sure.
Absolutely. In fact, I would say he's probably, and no offense to any of my other friends, but if I could give that like a golden ticket to somebody, he'd be the one I'd give it to. He's definitely paid his dues, and he's definitely got the chops. So I would love one day to see him, working on a book, assuming it didn't drive him crazy.
Right.
Oh, okay. So this is a pinup by my good friend Ellis Goodson. Ellis is a local guy, and I haven't known Ellis for very long, but I met Ellis probably about 6 or 7 years ago. Ellis grew up here in Oklahoma City. He went to Dallas. He went to Dallas, and then from Dallas he ended up going to San Diego. And in San Diego, he worked in the game industry, and he worked on a ton of games for the Sega Genesis and Saturn, I believe.
Nice.
He was part of a group called the Neverhood, which was kind of founded by Doug TenNapel, if you're familiar with Doug TenNapel.
Oh, okay.
The guy that created Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim, yeah.
Yeah.
Earthworm Jim, yeah. Him and Doug are pretty good friends, and Ellis through a combination of his work, his game company that he worked at being sold, and some family drama, ended up back here in Oklahoma City, and that's when I met him, and he was almost retired then. And in fact, Ellis and I do a live chat every Thursday where I just put the camera over my drawing table, we just draw and chat, and and Ellis is a good friend of mine. I hang out with him a lot. I've learned a lot from him. He's
Sean says Neverhood. Is he familiar with Neverhood?
Yeah, it was a. I just Googled it here, and it was a point and click game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they did a couple games. Doug Tenapple kind of headed that up, and they were kind of like some of them were kind of had like a claymation kind of style to them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at here. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was with Ellis at the mall one time, and he was wearing like a polo shirt that it had the logo for the company on it, and we went to a store, and a guy goes, "Hey, where'd you get that shirt?" And he goes, "I used to work for the company." And the guy was like, "You used to work for whatever the name of the company was." And Ellis was like, "Oh yeah," and he goes, "What'd you work on?" And Ellis told him some game he did for the company, and that guy was like, "Oh my gosh, that's my favorite game ever."
Wow.
You know, it was. I mean, it's kind of funny because he's got some street cred to him, I guess, if you'll put it that way. But
That's awesome.
But Ellis is
Sean says
a good
Neverhood
guy.
is a claymation game.
Okay,
Just for the record.
Well, I think there was a game, and then the company was named after the game. But anyway, so I had Ellis do a pinup for us also, and I like all of these for different reasons, and I like Ellis's because the colors are so crazy.
Yeah. Cool colors. What else has he done? I remember him from Oki Comics, and I know that he did some stuff with what is the name of Matt's character? The Grave. He did a Grave story.
He did a Grave story. There's a local thing. It's a free paper basically called Oki Comics, and the guy put it out here, and it's still going, I believe. But Ellis did a story in that about a kind of a film noir comic noir kind of story about that took place in the film district of Oklahoma City, or on Film Row, which was an area that used to be big in the movies, and I guess they distributed movies through there, and it had some movie theaters and stuff. And he did a period story that took place, and
theater owners would screen movies there and then would order those movies for their theaters. So and they did that in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
In fact, they just recently restored I believe they call it the Paramount Room.
Is that the one on 23rd Street?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's 23rd Street. That may be incorrect. It's wherever they call Film Row in South Oklahoma City. But
Film Row's down on 16th, I think.
Okay.
It's a little bit south of 23rd, but
then it's not where I think it was.
They just restored that theater, and people would cram in there, and then, this was long before the current film system and stuff. But that's the story of Film Row.
Yeah.
Which goes back literally,
but anyway,
before the 50s.
So Ellis had done those two stories. He did a story called, when he was in San Diego. So he's got this weird, like when he was in San Diego, he knows all these guys in the 90s that were kind of like inkers and stuff. He's friends with like Mike S. Miller and some of these guys. I forget who all he's friends with, but he did a comic called Bounty of Zone Z, which he did I think 3 issues. It was a self-published thing back in the 90s that he took out to San Diego and sold. But he hadn't done a whole lot. He has a steady freelance gig doing illustrations for it's an RPG website called I'm blanking on the name of it, but I mean he has a lot of stuff on Lulu, that kind of thing. Doesn't have a real deep comic catalog though.
Cool.
But he's a great artist, so I wanted him in.
Yeah. Handpicked. And I don't know who did this.
I don't know how this guy got in.
This guy, I don't know
how
about
that
the
guy
art.
got in there either.
I don't know about the art, but
God,
the
I hate
guy
this.
is
I hate this
devilishly
dude.
handsome.
I hate this dude.
So this is Dirk's, and I'll tell the audience what I told Dirk. Actually, I told him this a long time ago. I felt like Heaven's Rejects is a project that was made to have Dirk do the covers. I wish Dirk could have done the covers for it, but the logistics didn't work out. But he agreed to do a pinup for me at well, I won't talk about how much he charged me, but it was he undercharged me for the amount of work he
Millions
put in.
of dollars.
Yes, and he still undercharged me. But this is phenomenal work. I didn't know what Dirk was going to do. From seeing Dirk's work, though, I knew that a story about angels and demons and guns and chainsaws and monsters and girls in hot pants and tube tops would be right up his alley.
Yeah, if you don't know Dirk, if you think you know Dirk and you don't know Dirk.
Yeah. Anyway, but Dirk did this, and he just crushed it. And several people have reached out to me or to reach out to Dirk and said, "Hey, are you going to make a print of this?" And so I was like, "Yeah, you should make a print of it." So Dirk was kind enough to reach out to me and privately and say, "Are you sure I can do it?" And I'm like, "Dude, we agreed on an amount. You gave. I know, I appreciate that. I think that was good of you, but I was very clear that I just needed a pinup, and we weren't going to use it, without talking to you. We wouldn't use it for anything else. And I felt like you if you do a great job and people want a print of it, who am I to stand in the way, or even worse, try and myself capitalize on it? I mean, I'd go for it and I would encourage people, if they like this, to order a print of it, because Dirk has a online store that he sells museum quality prints of all of his stuff, but get this one because it's great.
There's even a little Taskforce Geek reference in there if you can't see it.
Yep.
There is. It's right
nice.
there.
That's awesome.
Walt caught that.
I caught it right off. I caught it right off
You
the
sure
bat because I
did.
was like, yeah, it needs to be right there on the chainsaw right there.
I got to draw a monster. I got to draw guns, wings.
Got it all. Yeah.
Angel. I mean, it's like, I love this crap. So,
hey, do you mind? Do you mind if I share this to the Lords of Acid page? Because there's that. That
no, I want people to share it everywhere.
Oh,
please
do.
That's what I told Scott. I said, look, I'm not all that concerned about, all of the things that people are always concerned about on these things. I did this specifically for the purpose of being kind of a portfolio piece. I really wanted people to, it was a challenge to me, and it was something I've been wanting to do, which is something that's kind of like a poster, a little bit more work involved in this sort of thing. And, it's very much up my alley. So if,
very much up his alley.
That's why I really wanted to bring this in, and really do it right for you, and to be like I said, a portfolio piece that hopefully gets some eyeballs on it, so that some other work comes my way. What I really would like to do is do, either covers or illustrations and stuff. And, maybe someday get back into doing sequential art. But with that said, I would do sequential art for coloring. So if someone's looking for colors, I'd be willing to do that too right now. And at some point, I'll dip my toes back into doing like full sequential. I've done sequential art before, but in any case,
you crushed it on this, dude.
Thank you, Scott. I want to say publicly, thank you for thinking of me on this and for giving me the opportunity to do this thing, because it's going to be published, which is awesome, and it gives me something to put out there. I mean, it's a published credit, and hopefully someone will see this and.
I hope. I would love for you to get more work out of this. like I said, I'm gonna do what I can to share it for sure. Yeah, I thought of you early on from seeing some of your, we'll call it non-comic work. I felt like
I have another life that I talk about often on the show, but I never elaborate on. But
we've been thinking about doing a Taskforce Geek After Dark.
After Dark,
talk about that.
Which maybe has a little bit more adult themes or something. But I try to be general audiences here on this.
But I saw that stuff and I felt like that you because you do a great job at that stuff, and it's always very impressive. And I felt like you would do great at this, and I'm glad. I hope that this does give you a little more. I hate to say exposure based. But yeah. No, but I mean, because I mean, I don't want, that's the big, that's also the big, joke is, oh, we're doing it for exposure. I don't, that's not the deal, but I do
have a whole dissertation on that subject.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I paid you guys. I definitely.
You did. But in this case, a lot of people, look, I do professional photography and I do illustration in this other world that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And some people approach me in that world where I have over 80,000 followers on Twitter, and I'm, I've been in that world for over 20 years. And, they give me the, hey, you could do this for exposure. And it's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Me sharing this is exposure for you. You should pay me extra for me to give you the exposure that I'm going to give when I share this thing. You have a tiny fraction of the amount of people. You're not giving me exposure. I'm giving you exposure on this thing.
Right.
But in this case, in this world, I do need the exposure. People haven't seen me produce something like this. I've done covers in the past, but it was literally 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is a case. Yeah. So this literally is the case.
I think mine goes even further than that.
Exposure. I do need to. This is my debutante ball here.
Welcome to the ball.
If you like what I'm doing here, then hook me up.
Yeah, and if you don't, if you're not a comic creator, I would encourage you, and you like this, I would encourage you to consider getting a print of it.
Yeah. I do have that somewhere. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Wait, since you're teeing me up, Scott, and thank you for doing that. I do have a. Let's see. Let me get this and do it correctly. Let's do the window. Trying again not to crash my whole computer. There is the stream right there. It's inprnt.com/gallery/Dirk Hooper. If you just go to that, you'll find me. That's
look
the
for
most
Dirk
important.
Hooper.
Yeah, look for Dirk Hooper on Imprint, INPRNT, or you can. I mean, look, I just shared it to my Facebook deal. I've shared it all over the place. But I mean, when you have a hot lead, what they call a hot lead, if someone goes, I sure would like to put that up on my wall, it's like, oh, I need to get, something needs to happen here. And I said, I'll talk to Source Point Press and tell them that you're interested. And then Scott, grabbed me and said, man, put this up, up and offer this thing, get the print going. So in any case, there it is. This is a great company. It does museum quality, literally museum quality. It's run by artists. It's populated by artists. You can't get on this thing without an invite from another artist. And they do G-Clay museum quality prints on quality archival paper, right?
And it looks like on demand.
And it's on demand. So you can do one at a time, and you can do it. And it's not just on paper. You can get it printed on canvas. You can get it printed on metal. You can get it printed on a bunch of stuff. It's really cool. So there we go. That's all.
And their prices seemed reasonable to me.
That's very reasonable. I was looking at those prices. Those are very, very, very reasonable prices.
To be fair, those are my prices because I'm the one who logged that in. So if I go there and I buy my own print, then that's how much it'll cost. It's a little bit
No.
more, but you know what? I kept the 8x10 or 8x11, 8.5x11. I kept that very low so that, you know, if you just got to have a piece, and I'll tell you this, if you get it to me, I'll sign it and send it back to you. Be glad to do that if you just want something signed on
Very
that.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So look, I really want to stress that we're talking about not me, but Heaven's Rejects. That is available right now. Go to your local comic book store and don't request it. Demand it. Demand it.
You got to demand it.
Get
Yeah.
mad about it. Go
I
in
need
there
it
and bang on
now.
the counter.
Give me Heaven's
I
Rejects.
want Heaven's Rejects now.
I need it.
Flip some tables.
Because I'll tell you what, this is the most important people who don't know and don't understand. Heaven's Rejects will be coming out in about 3 months. And if you don't go in there and request it, then it's a good chance that, you know, that they will only order 1 or 2 copies, or they may not order any at all.
Right.
If 2 or 3
Yeah.
people come in, conversely, and go, hey, what about this new comic called Heaven's Rejects? Then maybe they don't order 3, maybe they order 10 or 15. So this right now, it's not the day that it comes out that's the most important. It's right this second.
Right now.
It's requesting this thing right now so that owners
Tomorrow,
realize
when
that
you
it's
go buy
out
your
there
books.
and realize that there is demand for it. Get them excited, get them on board with this, because it's the difference between selling, you know, a few hundred copies and selling a few thousand or 10,000 copies of this thing. You know, getting in there and making a big deal out of it and telling other people that are in there, hey, if you don't know about this, you need to order it too. You know, advocate for this so that Scott lives his dream of getting this thing all the way to issue 4, and
it's even on
getting a
eBay
sequel.
already.
It is. It's on eBay.
Oh, it is, isn't it? I saw that. Yeah.
It's on
What
eBay
the heck?
already.
What's up with
They have
that?
a time machine?
I think. Well, I think it's I think it's a company that when you order it, they'll order it.
Yeah,
you know,
it's pre-order.
kind
They're
of a
using
deal.
eBay
Yeah,
as
it's a pre-order.
distributor or something.
I think it's a third party doing it. Somebody else
That's
doing
weird.
it.
It's a third party
Gotcha.
because it's double the price.
That is super weird.
Yeah.
Besides all the stuff that I've said about it, and Heaven's Rejects is a very fun comic. Seriously, you should get out there and pick this up. But what's your best pitch on that, Scott? Why should they go pick it up?
Well, first off, I would say, you know, I've talked on here about, you know, all my trials and tribulations, and I'm sure there are people that love to support the underdog, and I'm definitely the underdog in the comic industry. But even beyond that, I think it's a real fun story. It's, you know, when you read comics nowadays, we talked about this earlier about how sometimes you read a comic and you'll get through the entire comic and all they do is go to the grocery store or order lunch or do something like that.
What is this about?
Comic is, this comic is not like this. This comic is packed full of
from page 1, it gets going.
Yeah, it starts off on a bang. It starts off where the girls are rescuing a Mexican family from a little chapel out in the desert, and then it segues into Detroit, and then they get into a fight in their headquarters in Detroit, and then they go out and so on and so forth. It's a fun ride. I enjoyed a lot. I would say that it's a lot different than a lot of comics you see nowadays, certainly from the mainstream. It's not decompressed. There's a lot going on. It's fun. A lot of comics, frankly, aren't real fun. There's a lot of crazy stuff.
So
it's
true.
not. It seems like the you know, when I was a kid, I would read comics and I'd read like the X-Men, and they would go off world and they would fight in the hidden land, and I'd read about the Fantastic Four and they'd go into the negative zone. And now when I read comics, you know, like I said, they're out ordering sandwiches, or they're making pizzas, or they're returning library books.
Right.
This is not that. This is more. This is more old. I mean, you know, I'm an old school Marvel fan. This isn't superheroes. it's angels. It's more like a Hellboy book, but it's that style of storytelling,
But
and
that stuff
it's
was
just
in
a
old Marvel
blast.
comics too.
It was, yeah, yeah. It would fit. It would fit. I feel like outside of the slight bit of profanity in there, it would fit in a mainstream Marvel from like '78 or something like that.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's my pitch. Either buy it out of sympathy or curiosity, or just
Find a reason.
intrigued by it, but just buy it, please.
But it's so important that you will not get the chance to buy this thing. I mean, unless you know Scott and you can hit him up at a convention or something, you won't get a chance to buy this if you don't get into your local comic book store right now and order it. That's the most important thing that I can say about it is just walk into your local comic store and tell them you really want this on your list.
Yeah, I mean, I have the opportunity to buy. As part of my deal, I can buy books, and I forget what the rate is. And and a lot of people have said, "Oh, I want one. Will you sell me one?" And I've encouraged them, go to the comic shop. Even though
that's the key.
I personally make a little more money, I don't
huge.
care about that. You got to order it from the comic shop because it's in the Diamond catalog. If the numbers aren't there, I don't know if they'll publish there 3 issues. I think they're contractually obligated to, but
they did give you a double page spread, and I think I think those covers.
I think it'll do well.
And full color at that too. So
yeah. So I feel optimistic about it. I think the premise will have interest, whether they know you or anything. I think that it will attract attention, and I hope it does. Yeah, because I think once they get in their hand, they'll come to the same conclusion that you just said, which is it's fun and it's very much unlike a lot of the stuff that's out there right now.
Yeah,
I think it competes really well particularly within the current market.
And if anything, support your local small businesses.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, they're
absolutely.
They're just as important as the independent publishers that are putting the stuff out there.
If you don't, though, they'll be gone.
Yeah,
they'll be gone.
Yep. I have friends that are like, I'm not going to buy that because I can get it cheaper online, and I'm like, what are you saving, $1? I mean, come on, don't
walk
be
in
cheap.
the store, pick up a few comics.
Yeah,
pick up more than.
I mean, for me, that's the joy. Is like I would always go in. I'm like, I got to get my 3 issues of comics, and I'd walk out with 15 because because of the impulse.
That's the problem.
That's that's where it really is. Exactly. Like, hey, what's that?
And because and it would particularly they wouldn't even be issued like titles that I was interested in, but I liked the cover, or I liked the artwork on the cover, or I liked the artwork on the interior. I may not have enjoyed the writing or anything, but I enjoyed looking at the pages, because a lot of people, no matter how poorly it's written or whatever, or how good it's written, there's still a lot of work that went into that. And
absolutely.
And I've always said, even if you have a writer that's not very good, or if you don't like the person's writing, usually I will say 99.99% of the time I read a comic, I enjoyed the writer's writing. But you can have terrible artwork and good writing and still be enjoyable, or you can have vice versa, so I appreciate the craft. Sure. And if anything, get out there, support your local small business. If anything, if you don't go out and just to buy this comic,
they need your help. I promise you.
Buy something.
If they survive
through
COVID,
there's something out there for you. Yeah. But buy this comic.
Of course. Of course.
Because
buy this comic and
buy this comic because nothing like, like you said, what was it? Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, Charlie's Angels with Real Angels meets Hellboy.
There you go.
And then you have what is it? We have Ferris Bueller meets
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
You know,
What's not
those
Thor?
are two good combinations. You know,
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
if Scott's first comic book review video on our page, being Transformers meets My Little Pony, has like the first 2,000 views for anything Task Force Geek.
Right.
I mean, come on. The strange combinations is what
That's
gets
right.
it.
Yeah.
That's so true.
That sounds crazy.
So true. All right, we're going to move on to On Blast. We'll do that really quick. Okay, for Scott Prime, and for anyone else who doesn't know, On Blast is our segment where we talk about something that we've watched at the movies or something on television, something we've read, or like maybe games that we've played, or just pick maybe one thing that you're really into that you would like someone else to know about. And first on that, I'm going to go to Walt.
Oh, me first?
Yeah.
So
you have seniority.
not I have not done much, if you can believe that. So the last over the weekend I caught up on The Boys because I hadn't watched like the last.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't watched the episodes where Soldier Boy came in, so jumped in on the Soldier Boy and finished it out. Herogasm. I'll just
hashtag Herogasm.
Hashtag Herogasm.
Right.
So caught up on that. Of course, you know, we do spoiler alert. We hadn't done it in the last 2 weeks because everybody has been busy.
Yeah.
So what's seen as this week, tomorrow is the final episode of Ms. Marvel. We'll finish out the last 3 episodes of Ms. Marvel, hopefully on Sunday.
Right. Controversial Ms. Marvel.
For whatever reasons. Other than that, you know, just trying to catch up on some artwork, which if you haven't been to that right there, I started doing some digital inking on this little cover here, if I can get it to focus and get all the little bright light off of it and everything.
Yeah, cool.
So I scanned it and I'm doing some digital inking for it because before I actually color this cover and ruin it for life, I want a digital version.
I hear you, man. I hear you. That's why I
want a digital version. So yeah. Also, I got this from Marcus Pattern.
Oh yeah.
From when I got 3 shots of whiskey, I scanned this in. So Marcus, if you're watching again, I'm gonna do it.
We'll have him on again soon.
Which
he likes staying up really, really late.
Yeah, I would have had more of that done. Actually, I would have had that done had I not spent 4 hours getting my scanner back to operating. Gosh. You know, just the software working. But other than that, if you can't tell, my house, this room, which is my office, is a mess because I found this old day planner,
right?
Which nobody uses these things anymore,
right?
Nobody uses that anymore. So I'm gonna go through that and see. Well, what phone numbers do I have in here that I need to do?
Sean wants a copy of it too.
Actually, what I'll do, Sean, once I get it inked, I'll give you a copy of the ink and let you do your own coloring on it. In fact, I'll do that for anybody if they want to do their own coloring for it. Other than that, I've been trying to get this room all together, and I have this.
Ooh!
Oh wow,
that looks awesome.
And I'll tell you how much I paid for this. You want to know how much I paid for this?
How much you paid for that?
$0.
Wow, that is a good price.
$0. An old VP at Tucker Power Sports, where I used to work, was clearing out some things, and he just gave it to me. He's like, I don't need it anymore.
Wow.
Nice.
So
wow.
I can't even begin to tell you how much this costs. So so thank you for that.
Very cool.
Other than that, that's it.
All right. Scott, we're going to you next.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm always busy, so it's hard to come up with what I've been doing. But I recently purchased this drawing
Oh my
book.
gosh, what is that?
This
That's
is
a good
called
book.
Anatomy for Artists: Drawing Form and Pose. It's written by a guy named Tom Fox, and I got this.
I love his
Let's see,
stuff.
showed up Saturday, but I mean this. I don't know if I can show it to you, but this is, I don't know what I'm showing you, but this is a phenomenal book. And I've been tearing through it. What I like about this is I mean, you guys that are artists are probably just like me. I have a ton of anatomy books and books about figure drawing and stuff. And so it's hard to
I love
find
those.
one. Yeah, I seem to collect them, but
Same here.
the nice thing about this book that I really liked is it focuses on drawing from a form standpoint versus like here's a bicep and I mean, it goes into that, but it's more a more structure based. And Tom Fox Draws is the Instagram for the writer, and he has a bunch of pictures on his Instagram. So if somebody wants to look at it, that'd kind of give them probably a better idea what the book was like. But I'm 2/3 of the way through it. I got it over the weekend. It came in the mail, and it's $56. So it wasn't really an impulse purchase because it's a little on the pricey side for
It is.
a book. But I had some online retailer cash, and I saw it, and I went to his Instagram, and I was sold, and I decided that I needed that book. So I got that. I've been taking that to work and reading that on my lunch hour and reading it here at the house. And this is a library book, but I'm still going to show it to you. It's called Appendix N by Jeffro Johnson. Now, I don't know. Do any of you guys play Dungeons and Dragons, or did you ever play Dungeons and
Well, I did
Dragons?
many years ago.
Long time ago.
I do. I'm actually going to play a little bit after.
Oh wow,
Nice.
really?
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what Appendix N is in the Dungeons and Dragons books. Appendix N is the appendix at the end that says, like if we're going all the way back to the first edition, it says, hey, these are the books that influenced our game design. And it goes through a whole list of fantasy and science fiction books.
Nice.
Books, for example, like the Cthulhu books, The Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs, the Dying Earth books by Jack Vance. So what this book does is it goes through them. It goes through that list, and it has a chapter on each book, and it talks about how it influenced Dungeons and Dragons and how it influenced popular culture, and why the creators, the original creators, going back to Gary Gygax back in the 70s, why they were influenced by those books. Like I said, it's an interesting book. And if you're into Dungeons and Dragons and you're into like old fantasy books, I would recommend this.
That sounds amazing.
It's pretty cool because it's a lot of books, because everyone assumes like Dungeons and Dragons is all Tolkien, and it really isn't. There's really a lot more. Certainly in the earlier editions, there's a lot more going on there, and we've fantasy. I don't know if you guys read a lot of fantasy, but the fantasy genre has kind of devolved or evolved, however you want to think about that, into this idea where everyone wants to write this big Game of Thrones kind of thing, or like Lord of the Rings kind of cast a long shadow on the fantasy genre, whereas before Lord of the Rings, a lot of it was like, one-off slim books. There wasn't a lot of series actually, and so it was the fantasy genre was kind of different before Lord of the Rings hit. Not that I dislike Lord of the Rings at all, but some of that stuff now, where if you want to read, I mean, I picked up a book by Brandon Sanderson, and the thing is like that thick.
Oh yeah, that guy.
So I mean, and it's like the
That
first
guy.
of 10. And it's like, oh my gosh, dude, take a rest.
He's a guy. You were talking earlier about pitching stuff, and he had a a thing where he was talking about always having like 10 pitches ready to go, no matter who contacted him.
Yeah.
He is ready, and that's why. I mean, obviously, he's doing okay. Let's just say Brandon Sanderson's doing okay.
He's doing okay, but his pitches, I think, are 10,000 words.
They are.
I have one more thing that I forgot to mention that I think everybody here should check out on Instagram. I've been really going to Devin Clark Comedy on Instagram, and it's hilarious. If you like old school TV shows, even newer TV shows, this guy does these it's a stand-up comedian, and he's based right here in Fort Worth, and he takes these clips of old TV shows and movies, and he does like a recap, but he does it as hey, this is the old, like the blaxploitation film. So he does this voiceover, and he's got the cool music and everything, and I can't even begin to describe him. But his Wonder Woman, he's got a few with Wonder Woman. He's got a few with the old 70s Spider-Man. He's got one with Worf from Next Generation, Star Trek Next Generation. Just look him up at Devin Clark Comedy on Instagram and just go through the videos. And they always start off with Meanwhile, Wonder Woman, or last time we were on Wonder Woman or whatever. They're hilarious.
Cool. Scott, was that all on your deal?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I have some other stuff, but that's okay. Nothing too exciting.
All right, Leslie, you're up.
I'm not quite prepared, but luckily I do.
No, I understand.
One book lying around.
They came pretty strong. They came out pretty strong.
Yeah.
Welcome to Taskforce Geek.
Usually I keep my books up here, but for some reason I kept them in the kitchen. But yeah, luckily I do have something. So I just got this from a Kickstarter fulfillment, but it's going to be out in shops, I think, next month. If you can see with my bad lighting, but
Crash and
Troy.
Crash and Troy. All right.
So
hey,
I like that cover.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cover. It's by Jared Lujan and what's the star's name? Kyler Clodfelter, and I think it's coming out with a Wave Blue World. I want to see next month, so hit up your comic shops and that's what happens when you have a phone.
I'm really big on the graphic design these days. I've been looking at the logos, and that logo.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's clean.
It's fun.
It's clean on that cover. That's really cool.
But yeah, sorry. So yeah, I just finally got a chance to read this, even though I've had it for like 3 weeks. And so yeah, this is kind of like an early sneak peek at it, and it is funny as hell, and the action is awesome. And I'm like already in love with Troy of the Crash and Toy combination. He's a robot with lots of, or I guess you call him android, with lots of just great humor. And yeah, Crash is good too, but I'm already in love with Troy, and I want to protect him and adopt him as my son. So yeah, definitely check out Crash and Troy. That's really cool.
That's awesome.
That's a great review.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I'm like always behind on everything, but I just got Gideon Falls from the library. I just finished volume 3, and I want more. So if you're like me and haven't read Gideon Falls yet, go read that by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. Cool. Just awesome atmospheric horror book that is just very good. And I'm like 3 years late on this, but apparently it was really big when it came out. But yeah, I'm just getting into it now.
I'm so far behind on stuff. I'm in the same boat.
That's what happens when you create. You read a lot less comics apparently.
True. Yep.
So yeah, that's about it for me. Other than that, and bad reality TV, which you should always watch when you're trying to let your brain relax.
Right.
Yes.
Not a lot of heavy thinking there. All right, mine. I'm going to talk about Thor. I saw Thor on Friday night.
Nice.
I really enjoyed Thor. I know that a lot of I hear I'm very attuned to the whinging of a lot of people about, you know, how Marvel is dead and all that sort of stuff.
It's the fan holes.
You know, I think that I think the issue is that people, they forget about, you know, like how Thor 1 and Thor 2 were.
Yeah.
And they compare, like, everything now is compared to like Endgame. And if you don't rock the entire damn universe and reset everything and 14 people die, and you know it's a $300 million production, then everyone's like, that's just a little disappointing. And it's like, damn, man, you can't do Endgame every effing movie.
Right.
They spent 11 years building up to Endgame. Every movie can't be Endgame, folks. With that said, I really enjoyed Thor. I thought it was great. It was not Thor Ragnarok. It's a different thing. And I think that Taika Waititi is trying to do something different, not give you Thor Ragnarok again. He's trying to give you something different. And the theme is consistent throughout the entire movie. They establish these characters. The characters have an arc. They do things that are different. They challenge the characters, and then they have to come up with something at the end. I'll tell you that even the bad guy, which by the way is done by Christian Bale. Christian Bale is fantastic in this film. One of the best Marvel villains ever. Really spectacular. Probably will never get the recognition he deserves, but that character also has an arc throughout the film, which I always appreciate. Speaking of Endgame, you know, Thanos had a character arc. You know, the character, you know, in Infinity War and in Endgame was like an interesting character, and that's definitely the thing that happens in this. One of the things that was complained about in Marvel films at the beginning is that the villains were so thin. And I think that lately they have all worked toward the goal of creating bad guys that are interesting. And that's certainly the case here. The guy who was in Gladiator, I cannot remember his name, who plays Zeus, plays, I mean, his performance in this is really exceptional and is humorous and very much unexpected from him. I thought Russell Crowe was really amazing in this film. I thought that was great. I think that Natalie Portman did a great job of, you know, who now is like the serious actress and stuff. She did a great job of just, you know, leaning into being fun and leaning into the adventure. She's almost a complete different character in this film. If you remember her from the second film or maybe shorter appearances in other films, she's wonderful in this film. She's really, really good.
She got guns too now.
She does. She hit the gym, folks. Everyone was like, she's kind of frail. Is she going to look okay?
That's the only thing I want to see right there.
She brought it. I want
to see them biceps.
It's welcome to the gun show. And, you know, Chris Hemsworth is definitely welcome to the gun show, too. I've never seen that guy bigger and more insane. I mean, for the ladies.
Man.
He's also great too. I mean, they're definitely doing something different with that character. Right. Again, they do something different with the character. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of adventure. There's a lot of fun in this thing. And it's got a little bit of a point at the end for people who, you know, want to wrap this thing up with a little bit more substance. So in any case, I really enjoyed Thor: Love and Thunder, and hopefully other people will not compare it to every other Marvel film that's existed since the beginning of time. Although I think that it holds up well. Again, I mean, I think it's in the top, you know, whatever, top fifth of those films. I think it's one of the better ones, in my opinion. Ashell says that she's been kicking around the idea of seeing Thor in the theater. Thanks for your review. I'm feeling more of an urge now. I don't know really what people's constant problems are with stuff. It's like, Marvel's over. And it's like, no,
No, it's not.
Spider-Man just made $2 billion.
Right.
The Doctor Strange film, which by the way, Doctor Strange didn't make a lot of money on the first run through that, has made almost $1 billion.
Right.
And this movie has made $300 million in its first week. Stop saying that Marvel is over. That's the most ignorant, ridiculous, imbecilic thing that I've ever heard in my entire yes.
Babble.
Just like
and fan bombing.
I'm not getting the crap.
Always the fan bombing.
That's in my deal. It's like, look, the rest of the populace is enjoying these films. If there's something you don't like, skip it. Don't watch that.
Don't watch it.
You will get something that you like later on. They haven't given us a total bomb yet. They have yet to do that.
No.
Just relax.
Agreed.
Enjoy the damn thing. Please, just relax.
It's basically people who are stuck on Zack Snyder.
It's not right. It's not. It's also not overly woke. I mean, people are like, that's a female Thor character. They're trying to push female Thor down. Look, good God, relax. It's not that. Just go see the movie. Just go see the movie. If you liked Thor Ragnarok, you will like this movie. I feel like it's the same sort of stuff, but it's not a rehash of that. Thank goodness.
Good.
Yeah, thank goodness. It's different. It's different.
So they don't make sandwiches then. Is that what you're saying?
Right. The goats in it are hilarious. The goats in it, when they started with, I won't even tell you, but when they started with the goats, I got tickled. I got tickled at it, and I could not stop laughing at the goats. The goats are wonderful. And that's not the only routine that they have in there that is literally laugh out loud funny.
Good.
That's it, folks.
Good.
Let's do a little promo time, please. It's one of those things where it's like we've had so many technical difficulties tonight. so many little crazy things.
That's the reason why we were on so late.
That's why we were on 30 minutes late. And I mean, every one of us has had some little silly thing. Let's first go to our guest, Lesly. Tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, I'm on the internet pretty much everywhere at Leswrite. That's LESWRITE. You can find me at my website, leswrite.com. And the campaign can be found at headcasescomic.com. So come check me out. I'm doing my thing.
Go bid on Headcases right now, please. Now is the time.
Yes, it is.
Time. You must get out there and do that. Let's see. I'm looking for Scott's thing here. Get your pitch ready to go.
I got my pitch ready.
I'll figure it out eventually.
I was born ready, Dirk.
I know you were. Tell us where to find you.
I am in the new previews. If you look in July previews in the Source Point Press section, it's alphabetical, so it's towards the back. My comic Heaven's Rejects is in there. Diamond code is JUL221933 and JUL221934. There are two covers. You need them both. This is for my comic Heaven's Rejects. It is it's in the previews now. Order it now. If you don't order it, then all is lost. And I'm on I'm on social medias. Scott Sackett. I'm on Facebook, Scott Sackett. I'm on Instagram as Scott Sackett. So scottsackett.org is my website.
I like the consistency.
I'm out there. I try and be consistent.
It's so important with social media.
Yep.
It really is.
Walt, tell us where to find you, man.
Me, I'm not consistent. So you can find me on Facebook at
all over
Walter Cons.
Get your notebook ready.
Wood Studio Art Blogspot. I'm Gatchaman1 _1 on Twitch, and my Wood Studio Art store. There it is right there. On Zazzle. There's probably other places you can find me. You can find me on Instagram. I'm also Gatchaman _1 because who doesn't like Gatchaman? So
everybody loves Gatchaman.
Everybody loves Gatchaman. In fact, I spent like another 4 hours this weekend trying to find a place where I could stream it. So the original, not this crazy crowd stuff that's stupid don't get me started on that. But
Is
anyway,
it not available on like
no, it's
one
not
of the
available.
major streamers?
There's one that Sean knows about, and I forgot it. And I forgot to bookmark it.
High Dive.
High Dive. That's it. You can find it there. But yeah, I'm open for commissions as well. My main thing is I do watercolor. That's my bread and butter is watercolor. So I do portraits. I can do comic covers. I do line art too. I prefer not to, but but I can do it. I do have fun with it, but I'm really more into my watercolors, and you can see a sample on my with Studio Walter Kahn thing. So but I'm open to doing that such things. So hit me up.
Yeah, awesome. And that piece that he was talking about that you did a cover on,
this one here.
Man, that turned out cool.
And it's
cool stuff,
this is the one I'm doing the digital thing on, and it's a
I can't wait to see it.
So
yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, we got a comment coming.
Oh,
Michelle says the show was a good time. Enjoyed the guest. Fantastic cover, Dirk. Thank you.
Thanks,
You
Michelle.
outdid yourself. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right, so let's see. Now since I've clicked off of that, is there any way I'm going to find this? Here it is. I'm going to do something that I never do, and I may never do it again because I worry about doing this sort of thing for breaking luck. I got contacted by someone who does independent films and like kind of low budget stuff. I think for Trauma. And he has asked me to do a couple of posters for him. Nice. And I don't know if this is going to come out or if it's really going to happen. And I usually don't mention this sort of stuff because I don't want to curse it, but I'm so excited. Even if I just get to talk about it for a second, I'm kind of excited about the potential to do 2 posters, not 1, but he's approached me for 2 posters.
Nice.
Going back to, looking at old Indiana Jones posters and Star Wars posters by Drew Struzan, or the current crop of things and stuff. Doing a movie poster has got to be one of the, 8-year-old Dirk's dreams. So, I'm too excited about it to worry about the curse of talking about it. And I'll probably get contacted tomorrow by the guy and he'll say that he's found someone else to do it. But for tonight, I'm very excited about the potential of doing 2 actual movie posters that will, maybe show up on the front cover of a Blu-ray deal or be used.
That's what I was thinking.
An actual poster for these sort of things. The guy does very low budget films, but he also does special effects for big budget films like Alien Covenant. So I am
nice.
I am kind of super excited about doing this thing for him, and I just wanted to share it with my friends and family to maybe put some good vibes out there and manifest this. Bring it home. Let's bring this home.
Good vibes.
No doubt.
I want it really bad.
You got this.
Really bad. So if you could, do whatever you do, prayers or, whatever, wish on a star, whatever your jam is.
You're a shining star, no matter who you are.
Please help me out with that. Leslie, thank you for being on. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely welcome on anytime. If you got, it sounds like you got a lot of projects coming down the pike.
They're coming slowly but surely.
Next time you got something coming out, we'd love to have you on again, please.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Thank you to Scott for being on and for talking about Heaven's Rejects and for giving me the opportunity. I appreciate that very much. Scott is a regular contributor.
Man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for being a regular contributor. You will see much more of Scott here in the future. He's been so good on the show. We wanted to get him on more often. And as always,
Thank you.
thanks to Walt.
Always, man. You're welcome.
Thanks to all of the people who chimed in tonight. We appreciate that. And
Yes.
thanks to everyone who watched. We love you all. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Until next time, this is Dirk Hooper saying, dream hard.